So what we're going to have you guys do is a campaign activity. You guys are going to do your own campaign. The more specific you are, the easier it is. I do not want you guys to end world hunger. It is not going to happen. All right? But if you say, I want to build a food pantry in my neighborhood, then we can talk about the specifics of that, right? Because the more specific you are, the easier it's going to be able to do this campaign activity. Understood? Issue, very, very specific. Now, goals, I want you guys to pick a goal that relates to the issue that you are choosing. Okay? Now, we have a lot of different types of goals. We have short-term goals and we have long-term goals. You may have a long-term goal, but you're going to need a lot of short-term goals in order to accomplish that. It's saying, what do I want to accomplish with this issue, and how are the ways that I go about to do it, right? So is it a year-long goal? Is it a 5-year goal? Is it 6 months from now? And then I need to break it down by each month. How do I want to break down these goals for short-term and long-term? There's a primary target and there's a secondary target. Your primary target may be the direct person who has the legitimate authority in order to give you access to those resources. Your secondary target is the person you need to get to that primary target, because you can't get to them on your own for whatever reason. Make sense? All right. Your base and allies are the people who are going to be on your side, helping you out in some type of way. And this could be for a variety of reasons. I want you guys to make sure you think outside the box a little bit. Who is affected on your issue in all types of ways, right? So when we're talking about schools, let's say that our issue is somehow related to schools, we don't necessarily need to think about students and parents and teachers and principals. Maybe they're an obstacle and make you unable for some reason to accomplish your goal. It's important to understand why and how to overcome those things, right? So some people were like, you're just a jerk. You don't want to support my issue. You don't care. Maybe you're a racist. Maybe you're a sexist. Maybe you're all these things. You want your to income, right? There's a reason. Develop it a little more, okay? But I actually really like this idea. Okay?
Thank you.
So how do we talk about this issue so that we as a community can move forward in the healing process? Because addressing the issue of gentrification itself is also talking about community boards and who's allowed into the neighborhood in terms of businesses and things like that. Does that make sense? So I just want to separate a little bit and tease out about where your tactics are going in terms of your goal are not necessarily as related to the root issues of gentrification.
We have the long-term goal of having meals cost at least at most $4, like full-blown meals, and the goal of having students who use EBT to be able to pay for their food using EBT, and also having just general longer hours until like the last night class, and short-term goal would just be like adding an hour each time we work with something, or of like an hour of opening the cafeteria, and another would be making salads cheaper, because we don't just want to make food cheaper, we want to make sure these are actually healthy options, so we'd invest in healthy options. And do you want to do the target first?
I'll try. Well, we figured the target would be the head of the company that owns the cafeteria, and yeah.
Oh, and also like USG, because like they can also play a large role in like making changes, and all the other companies that are involved, like Hale and Hardy, and I know they have like another company that's involved, but they sell food for. And I mean, I'm not sure if we talked about this, but like an option would just be to also see if that doesn't work, we can reach out for Hunter to run their own cafeteria. If for whatever legal reasons we can't get through to these companies, that would be like a second option.
And so another thing that I know you guys discussed, different ways to think about those types of things.
Also, like, a lot of students do need volunteer hours to
Yeah.
add to their resume. A lot of schools do that already. They have students volunteer in the cafeteria, so that lowers the cost of like paying workers. However, like that was like one of our like anticipated obstacles. You don't want to have workers worry about whether or not they're going to have their hours cut or whether or not they're going to have their pay cut. And another problem would be just people are hard to work with, and then you have people are hard to work with, and also you have a lot of legal issues that come into it and a lot of technicalities. So you have to like be prepared to like deal with all of these things and be a possible base ally. And we set like tactics like volunteer students, food drive, surveys, seeing how much each student actually pays for a meal. Reaching out to local food companies to see if they can donate food or give food to us at a lower price. Having more microwaves would actually help in the process. Yeah, like as a short-term thing to remedy it, just have at least 20 accessible like microwaves. I know like they have problems with outlets.
That's okay.
Thank you, everyone. The sheets that you guys have are yours to take. Please fill out the evaluation and give it to Caroline. And thank you for your participation today.